Period 9 scores are posted to the message board at the league site, and here are the results from games played on Saturday. The New York Knicks are struggling badly with health and got torched once again, losing to the red-hot Chuck and Heat Checks, who threw down a league-high 135 fantasy points. The Heat Checks got big games from center DeAndre Ayton, who scored 22, Michael Porter and Ryan Rollins, who each added 19, and utility man Peyton Watson, who scored 17. The Heat Checks are now 3-6 on the season, while the Knicks have yet to score their first win. Like the Knicks, the Fort Wayne Pistons are struggling with injuries. Star forward Paolo Banchero has struggled to stay healthy over the past couple of seasons, and he was missing in action once again for Fort Wayne, who faced the defending champion Carolina Copperheads, and it wasn't pretty. The Copperheads got huge games from their bigs, with Joker scoring 30 fantasy points and Jalen Duren adding 25. Point guard Keontae George also played well, scoring 23, and Carolina made short work of the short-handed Pistons by a final score of 133-105. The Copperheads moved to 7-2 with the win and now face the Warriors in period 10. The Pistons slipped to 5-4 with the loss and will look to get back on track against the struggling Celtics. In a matchup of two 1-7 teams, it was the Boston Celtics versus the Houston Rockets. The Rockets made big changes to their roster this past week, but the results were the same as before as they lost to the Celtics by a final of 112-93. Boston got a solid game from center Alperen Sengun, who scored 24 fantasy points and was helped out by Devin Booker and Day'Ron Sharpe, who scored 17 and 16 respectively. The Rockets now have the second worst record in the league, and they're in a race to the bottom with the Knicks for the first overall pick in 2026. The Celtics are also in that race, and they may be considering some moves of their own, as the signings of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker don't seem to be making a big difference in the win column. In our final matchup of the period, it was the undefeated Nuggets against the 3-5 Alberta Cowboys, and it was a tight one. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led the Nuggets with 20 fantasy points, and he was joined for the first time by LeBron James, who had signed with the team a week ago. However, LeBron was a bit rusty and provided a modest 14 fantasy points in 30 minutes of play. The Nuggets were without key big men, Domantas Sabonis and Victor Wembanyama, and had to fall back on 20-year-old Derek Queen, who played well with 15 and 28. Newly acquired Moussa Cisse, however, struggled with just one fantasy point in just 8 minutes, and the Nuggets put up their worst point total of the season with 102. This allowed the Alberta Cowboys an opportunity to pull off the upset, but they struggled to get leadership from their point man LaMelo Ball, who scored just 11 fantasy points in 27 minutes. Big man Jaren Jackson also failed to take advantage of the absence of Wembanyama and Sabonis, as he scored just one fantasy point and was a non-factor. Cowboys center Jakob Poeltl came through for Alberta with 17, however, as did Keyshawn George. Norman Powell also played well with 14, and Julius Randle added 15. The game came right down to the buzzer, and the Alberta Cowboys stunned the Nuggets by a final score of 105-102, and Denver finally got their first loss of the season. The Nuggets are facing extended absences of Wembanyama and Sabonis, who are both expected to miss multiple weeks. Sabonis is dealing with a knee injury that will keep him out at least 3 to 4 weeks. Sabonis has been diagnosed with a partially torn meniscus, a serious injury, and his season could be at risk. Victor Wembanyama is ailing with a strained calf, and he's expected to miss the rest of November. He will be on the shelf until his re-evaluation in early December. The Nuggets will need to fall back on young Derek Queen and Moussa Cisse up front. The pressure is now squarely on the shoulders of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and newcomer LeBron James. The Nuggets have tough matchups ahead, facing San Diego, the red-hot Heat Checks, the ever-dangerous Poway Eagles, and the defending champion Copperheads. They finally get a break against the struggling Boston Celtics in period 14.
This has been an NBA Retro League scoreboard update. Period 10 box scores will be due this Monday.